Welcome back, everybody. This is the Night Breeze, as always, and this is part 10 of my Advanced Dungeons and Dragons um, lessons. And today we're going to, we're going to discuss the fighter. You know, that is, typical. You know, it's actually one of the most standard classes. Every race qualifies for it, and there's the only real qualification is you have to have at least a 9 strength. So as long as you have an average person's strength, you're qualified to be a fighter. Oh, you also have to have in first edition. You also had to have a Constitution of 7. So low normal. Actually, just below normal, I think, because normal is 8 to 12, I believe. So you know you're just right at there, just below normal. A high dexterity is desirable so that you're able to dodge attacks. If a fighter has a strength above 15, you get the 10% bonus to your experience points. Also, the higher strength gives you a better chance to hit and cause increased damage. Now, a fighter has a 10-sided hit die. No other. Well, in the original player's handbook, it said no other class of character except paladin and ranger subclasses is as strong in this regard. However, as discussed previously in the barbarian, they get a D12. Um, fighters are going to be the strongest characters in regard to sheer physical strength, and they're best at the hand-to-hand combat. They can use any armors or weapons, and they can be any alignment. Now, although they do not receive any magic spells, but their armor and weapons are in some way able to compensate that. They also have the most advantageous combat table, and they have decent saving throws. The fighters can employ many magic items, potions, protection scrolls, most of the rings, a few of the wands, one of the rods, a lot of other miscellaneous magic items, as well as all the magic weapons, shields, armor. At level 9, a fighter is able to establish a freehold. Basically, he has to get by building a castle and clearing an area in a radius of 20 to 50 miles around the castle to make it free from all sorts of hostile creatures. Whenever it's established and cleared, he's going to automatically attract a bunch of men-at-arms led by an above-average fighter. These men will serve as mercenaries as long as the fighter maintains his or her freehold and pays them. He also gets a monthly revenue of 7 silver pieces for each and every inhabitant of the freehold due to trade, tariffs, and taxes, just like a cleric did. With his thing. Now, in the Unearthed Arcana, again, and I actually think they did it in here, it's just in a different spot, but they have a proficiency set up so you can be proficient with weapons. And doing that, you can become a specialist. Weapon specialization requires 2 proficiency slots, but your DM can just allow you to be proficient if they don't want to use the proficiency rules that were there. It's not a big issue. that's going to be up to them. But, then specializing in a bow, not a crossbow, just a bow, requires an extra slot. So it'd be 3 slots for that. Um, with a melee weapon, when you specialize, you get a +1 to hit and a +2 to damage with that type of weapon. That's going to be on top of any strength, magic bonuses, whatever. So you're going to choose to specialize in like a long sword, or a broadsword, whatever weapon you're looking for. They also going to get additional attacks per round, which is one of the benefits. Because at first level, you're just starting off with a melee weapon. You normally would have 1 attack per round. As a specialist, you're going to have 3 attacks every 2 rounds. So 1 round you attack once, the next round you attack twice. At 7th level, that goes to 2 to 1. So you get 2 attacks every round. And then at 13th level, you get 5 attacks every 2 rounds. So basically, 2 one round, 3 the next round. Now, if you're a specialist in a bow, then at 1st level it's 2 attacks. 7th level it's 3 attacks. And at 13th level it's 4 attacks. Light crossbow really doesn't help you too much. It's with the light, it's 1 every round to start with. At 7th level, you go to 3 every 2. And then at 13th, you go to 2. So it's going to speed you up a little bit with a crossbow, but not much. Heavy crossbows, then, because they take longer to reload, you get 1 attack every 2 rounds at the beginning, then an attack every round, and then 3 every 2 at 13th level. If you're going to throw daggers, it's 3 per round at the beginning, goes to 4 per round, and then to 5 per round. Darts are 4 at the beginning, 5 at 7th level, and then 6 at 13th level. And other missiles, hurled weapons, it's 3 every 2 at 1st level, 2 per round at 7th, and 5 every 2 for 13th. And that's going to be your rocks and, just throwing rocks, javelins, hammers, so on. And then it's possible down the road to, again, if your DM allows it, to double specialize. And that's going to give the wielder +3 to hit and a +3 damage with that weapon type. And the key here is only melee weapons can be double specialized. And that's going to exclude pole arms and a 2-handed sword. Optionally, I know DMs that allow you to double specialize in the bow, provided you're a ranger. But that's, again, that's up to your DM. And, I've talked before about Scar. That's one of my fighters. He's kind of your classic big dumb fighter. But you don't have to play a dumb fighter. Actually an intelligent fighter can be even more effective. And fighter can be joined with other classes to make for quite a interesting capability. Fighter mage, you can, granted you're limited on your armor unless you're a multi-class elf, in which case you can wear elven chainmail and still cast your spells. But a mage with bracers of defense, a decent dexterity. You have access to any weapon and mage spells. And there's also, I mean, some of the mage spells out there, which I'll discuss some of them later, but, when I discuss the mages, the armor spell gives you a bonus to your XP. You know, so it's like wearing armor. There's other spells, later on that really go well with a fighter. Fighter thieves. You know, obviously, you can attack. You can get bonuses for attacking from behind, whatnot. Fighter clerics. I mean, a lot of clerical spells are focused on protection and strength. You still be able to use your armor. Now, you have to, if you decide to run a fighter thief or fighter cleric, you do need to talk to your DM about weapon availability, whether or not they're going to allow you to use all the weapons as a fighter, or if you're limited to your clerical weapons. But that's pretty much short, sweet. I decided to discuss this just real quick. Fighters are everywhere, and play them as you want to play them. Be an archer. Stand back and pepper them with arrows, or you're the tank that gets right up in there. That's one of the nice things about a fighter is you can play them multiple different ways and still work well. So, thank you for tuning in. I know this one is very short, but next time we'll be, let's see, we just did fighters. Well, it looks like we are at the magic user. Another, classic class. So next time we'll discuss the magic user, and I'll go a little bit of detail with some of the spells that are great for magic users, and I'll probably mention a few that can mix well with other character classes. So, as always, thank you for joining me. If you like the content, leave a like. If you haven't already, subscribe. Tell your friends. Maybe they'll enjoy the content. Click that notification bell. Make sure it's turned on so you get notified when I upload. And as always, please leave me a comment. If you like my content, let me know. If you don't like it, be polite, but let me know. And if you want to talk about your D&D characters, your favorite D&D memories, feel free. I enjoy hearing, D&D, people's D&D memories. But as always, take care. Thank you for joining me, and I'll be back soon. Have a great night.